Christmas is just around the corner, and with it we're all thinking about gift ideas to give other people. And so in this video I'm going to be talking about budget gifts that you can get at Dollar Tree, also a bunch of DIY gifts, and then following that I'm going to be sharing different ideas for gifts that cost nothing that you can give to other people. If you're new here, my name is Janine. I'm a Mennonite mom of this little guy. Bubba, don't eat Play-Doh. It's yucky. Yeah. So if you're new here, I'm a Mennonite mom that talks about all things mom and family related. And this month I've been working on a series of videos of gift ideas for him, for her, for the kids, and now we are following up with gift ideas on a budget. So if you haven't seen those other videos, make sure to go check them out. So the first series of gift ideas, we will start with Dollar Tree gifts. And I apologize ahead of time if you hear a lot of background noise when I'm talking, but I'm a mom to a little boy and things get noisy and we have to multitask, so that's what moms do, right? Anyway, let's jump right into it. Speaking of children, the first gift will be a DIY gift for kids. I found this container at Dollar Tree. It wasn't quite what I was looking for, but it was the only thing I could find. Now, Dollar Tree has an offshoot brand of Lego, and they work well with Lego. They have these different pieces, flat pieces in different colors, and then you can also get different packages with different colored blocks. You can buy these people in different packages. They have different little people that kids love to play with. In addition to that, they also have these little sets you can put together, like helicopters, fire trucks, race cars. I took a few of the flat Lego pieces and put hot glue on them so that I could glue them onto the sides and to the top of the container. This container wasn't ideal for me. It has a little bit of a curved side, and so when you actually go to stick on the Lego, it's not laying completely flat. So I'm not sure how well this will hold up after much use, but if you could find a container with a little bit more of a flat side, that would be a lot better. So also on the front, just for fun, I put Xander's initial X. So gluing these pieces to the outside of a container would make it ideal for road trips so that they can build things on the outside of the box. Also, on a side note, please ignore the coffee cup there that says I'm single. That is a cup from way back in the day. The coffee mug says I'm single, and then on the bottom it says not desperate. I should have been thinking before I had that sitting on the video, but I wasn't. It's just one of the coffee mugs we have around here, and yeah. So the next thing I did is I took the little square pieces of Lego and glued some to the back of a few of the Lego people so that they could stick onto the sides of the container. And so yeah, just fill up the inside with the rest of the Legos, maybe a few of the kits you can buy with the cars or the fire trucks or whatever. And Xander really enjoyed playing with this, and it's something you could take along on a road trip. Next up, we're going to be making a gift full of kitchen items, and here I'm just showing you in fast forward a lot of the different items that I bought from Dollar Tree. It's amazing what all they have. So I used this mixing bowl as sort of my basket, and then I just layered the items in. I had this cutting board, an oven mitt, tea towel, and then I just began to layer in different kitchen utensils. And from there, I had these measuring cups that I put in, these gold scrunchy scrubber things. I thought that they would be a pretty accent to the Christmas colors. And I also have this filler silver stringy paper, whatever you call it. So I just tucked that all in there to fill up the rest of the basket. So there we have it. I think it looks like a beautiful and thoughtful gift. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and let's go ahead and move on to the next gift. This next gift would be geared a little bit more towards men. I found this plastic toolbox and all these different card detailing things at the Dollar Tree. And then once again, I just took them and started arranging them in the toolbox, trying to make it look attractive. There's various things like sponges, detailing items for the cars, for the tires, wipes, different cloth sets, and so on. And then I finished up and wrapped it with a bow. I'm not very good at tying bows and making things decorative, but I tried. And I put a little bit more of this confetti stringy stuff, tucked it in around some of the items. I finished it off with one of these decorative stars that I also had found at the Dollar Tree. And then I also added some of those stick-on curly ribbons. I'm not sure what they're called, but I added that as a final touch up there on the right-hand corner. Next up, we have a basket for your coffee-loving friends. Here's a bunch of items I've got, from cups to bars, hot chocolate, and I got this scarf as well, just to use it sort of as layering in the basket. And then I just arranged all the different items, the coffee, hot chocolate, the cups, the mugs, the bars. And I did similar as I had done in the other baskets, just filling it with filler, a few different decorative items that I had found at Dollar Tree. And once again, I was pretty happy with how it turned out. One thing I was going to try, once again, not sure what it's called, but the clear plastic wrap that you can get to put around baskets and tie. I was going to do that with different of these baskets, but the wrap that I had bought wasn't large enough, so it didn't work out. But I think for all of these baskets that I'm putting together, it would look really nice to finish it off by wrapping it in that clear wrap and tying it with a bow of some kind. But it didn't work for me because I ordered the wrong kind. This next gift is quite inexpensive and also pretty cute in my opinion. You'll need a whisk, which I got at Dollar Tree, and then you'll need a note, whether you design it on your computer and print it out or just make a handwritten note. I designed my own and printed it out on the computer and quickly just cut it out. You'll need kisses. I prefer the ones with different color wrapping, and then also more of that clear plastic wrap and a ribbon to tie it all together. I think this is a really cute and adorable gift that doesn't cost a whole lot. I think this would be the perfect type of gift to stick in the mailbox for your mailman. Let's move on now to DIY gifts. Now, I just had to throw this in here. It might look like everything just always comes together, but it doesn't. This piece of wood was absolutely beautiful. I found it up in the barn, and I've been wanting to do a project where I try to transfer photos to a piece of wood. And guys, I tried and tried and tried, and I kept failing and I kept failing. The first time I tried with a piece of paper, I then later realized I needed a laser printer and not an inkjet, so that was a complete fail. So I went and sanded the wood down, tried again with wax paper. That was a fail. I tried with another type of paper, and then I decided, well, maybe my type of print is wrong. I tried printing that again, and it just looked like this black blob on the wood, and so I finally gave up. So sorry guys, I was hoping this would be a beautiful project, but it turned into a complete catastrophe. So I just had to show you all that it doesn't always work out as planned. And don't feel bad when your project turns out to be a complete catastrophe, because I've been there, done that, know completely what it's like. And guys, if you're enjoying this video, I'd love if you give it a thumbs up. It really helps me out. So now let's jump into the next project that was not actually a catastrophe. Probably one of my favorite DIYs is a photo canvas. These things get so expensive when you order them. They're so easy to make, they look great, and you can also stay more up to date on your photos with canvases, and it's not nearly as expensive. So you can either do this for yourself or for someone else as a gift. This makes wonderful gifts. Now the first thing you will need are your prints, whatever sizes you decide you'd like to go with. Anyway, secondly, you're going to need canvases. I'll have links to some below. I had some left over. Then I also ordered some off of Amazon. They're relatively inexpensive, so there's going to be links below to all these items, so whatever you need, just feel free to check it out in the description. You also need some black paint, and last of all, decoupage. So first off, you want to take your canvas and start painting the edges black. Now the two options are, you can do this first before you actually put your photo onto the canvas, or you can wait to do it after you have your photo onto the canvas, and it kind of hides that stark edge of the photo. I had done this the very first time I did canvases, and some of the black will spill out over the edges and onto your photo. I kind of prefer that look because it takes away from the stark edge of the paper and kind of makes it look more like it's a part of the canvas. For this time, I didn't do it that way. I painted first and then I put the photo on later. So you can paint the edges before you put the photo on, or you can paint them after. I personally prefer the look of waiting to paint until after the photo has been glued on. So next you want to take your photo and make sure it's trimmed to the right size. Sometimes the photos can be a little bit larger than the canvas. Cover the canvas with decoupage, brush it on, and then just lay the photo on top, press it all out, let it sit there until the glue has dried. Once everything has dried, that brings us to the last part, which can be a little bit tricky, and that is to take the Mod Podge and put it on top of the photo. Now from my experience, it works best if you don't get it on too thick, which I think I was getting it maybe a bit too thick here. And there's two ways that you can do this. The first way is to simply brush it on and let it dry, which gives it more of just a finished matte look, which a lot of people do. But the second way that you can do it, which I personally prefer, but it's also a little bit trickier, and that is once your photo is completely covered with Mod Podge, you stamp it on top of another canvas. And what I did here is I just had an extra larger canvas sitting there at the desk, and I just turned it upside down and stamped it on the back of the canvas. And it was a little bit tricky with these. It didn't turn out quite as well as some of the others I had done. You have to be careful with bubbles, that bubbles don't get in, because that does show up. But if it's done correctly, it can definitely give it a lot more of a canvas look. Yeah, I think this turns out really well. You just let it dry, and there you have it. Doing canvases yourself is a fraction of the cost as when you would actually order them online or at a photo place. So I would definitely recommend it. It's a lot of fun. It doesn't actually take that long, and you can make quite a few for the same cost that you would pay someone to do just one. Continuing on, gifts in jars make such beautiful gifts. And so the next series of DIY gifts are going to have to do with jars. First up, I'm going to make infused oil, and I found these beautiful jars on Amazon. There'll be links below. They also came with funnels, corks, and also caps when you're reusing them, so you don't have to bother with the corks. Now for any recipes that I'm doing on here, I will have the recipes down below. I'm not going to be sharing them in the video. I'll just be showing you the process. So I'm making rosemary infused olive oil and also lemon infused olive oil. All you will need is olive oil, fresh sprigs of rosemary, and also lemon peel. So just warm your olive oil and rosemary, and then also for the other recipe, your olive oil and lemon peel. Warm them on low for 20 minutes and then pull it off the burner and let it cool for half an hour. You don't want to pour the oil into your jars when it's hot, or your jars are going to break. And then from there, just transfer it into your jars. You could also add labels or handmade notes to these bottles. I didn't do that, but that would make a beautiful extra touch. Next up, I'm going to make a cookie mix in a jar, including the recipe on how to bake them. And so here I'm mixing up the majority of my dry ingredients. Once again, I'll have the instructions down below in the description. And then I go ahead, pour that into the jar. And from there, I'm going to add my quick oats, brown sugar, the white sugar, and then last of all, top it off with chocolate chips. So I found this, I believe it's a linen cloth that I thought would make a nice accent. I cut it in a square and put it onto the jar, screwed the lid over on top. I had a little bit of a harder time. It was a little bit thick to get the lid over top, but I did manage. And then I printed the directions out for the cookie recipe, cut it out, and then tied it to the outside of the jar. Once again, I will have links below to anything that you might need. Next up, I found these adorable little antique looking jars, and so I decided to do a spice recipe where you just layer spices within a jar, and that just makes a beautiful gift. I didn't share the process of me doing this, but I will have the recipes below. I just went through and kept repeating the recipe in layers throughout the jar until the jar was filled up. Very easy to do and makes a beautiful gift. I bought a pack of these jar mugs off of Amazon and decided to make hot chocolate recipes, which are really beautiful in jars as well. So I mixed up my hot chocolate recipe. Once again, it's down in the description. And then I put 1 cup of the mixture in each jar. For the first recipe, I added crushed candy cane, chocolate chips, and then topped it off with marshmallows. And then I added a decorative ribbon to the top. And for the second recipe, I added chocolate chips, peanut butter chips, and then marshmallows on top as well. Now I didn't do it in this video, but there will be directions in the description that you want to give with the hot chocolate. You're not supposed to heat up the whole thing. So make sure to either print out the directions or write them down to give it with each mug. For the last jar gift, this is very easy. Just take a quart mason jar and fill it up with white chocolate covered pretzels. I actually ended up not having enough, so just for the sake of the video, I've used filler marshmallows just so that I could have a full jar of white to demonstrate. And then I also took this piece of glitter paper and cut a circle to the size of the jar lid, put that on top just to sort of add a little bit of a decorative touch. And then I glued 3 black buttons on the front to kind of mimic a snowman. Once again, I designed and printed out a card for the outside that said Merry Christmas. and just took some red yarn and made a scarf for the outside of the jar, and it kind of has this cute little wintry snowman looking feel to it. I think it's a really cute and simple little gift that doesn't take long but adds kind of a nice little homemade touch. Alright, now we're going to wrap up with gift ideas that are free, that don't cost you anything. So the first one would be to create a playlist of your favorite songs, say like on Spotify, and send it to your friend or loved one. This would be a nice personalized touch, and it doesn't cost anything but your time. The second gift would more apply to someone that lives in your house. Say it's a child or your other half that has a certain chore they absolutely hate to do. Offer to do that chore for like a certain period of time, say maybe a month or 2 weeks or a week, however long you wish. That would mean a lot to a person. Number 3, give someone freedom from responsibility for a day. Maybe it's babysitting their kids, or maybe it's for your own children, not giving them any chores for the day. Yeah, there's a multitude of ways you could do this gift. Number 4 would be gather a bunch of your favorite recipes for someone. Number 5, you could make a bunch of little love letters or notes, put them in envelopes, and then label different envelopes. Do not open until such and such a date. Maybe you want to do weekly, monthly, yearly, or certain events that are happening. And then once that event happens or that date comes, they can open the next letter. That would be a fun thing to do. What, Xander? And then number 6 would be similar to number 5. And this could be an idea for anyone, but I'm just gonna use the idea of maybe if you have a child that's off at college or somewhere. You could also make a bunch of envelopes and title it, "Open This When." And you could have different ideas such as, open this when you fail a test, open this when you have a terrible date, open this when you feel homesick, open this when you think that you're in love, open this when you got an A on a test, and just random things like that. You could make a whole bunch of letters, open this when, and send it with them when they're gone away from home. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope this helped out. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.